皆さんまた来てくださってありがとうございますということで、今日曜日の朝です。今日はもう一個、ずっと話題になってたことをあげようと思って、これは、粉ミルクの不足っていうことで、棚から粉ミルクが消えちゃったってことで、赤ちゃんを持ってるお母さんが、赤ちゃんのいるお母さんが今全米で本当に大変なことになっているっていうことなんですね。でね、これをあげようと思った瞬間にまたね、ニューヨークのねバッファローっていうちょっとカナダに近い方で銃撃でスーパーマーケットで8名が亡くなるっていうことがあったんですね、ニュースが。ということで、まずは赤ちゃんの粉ミルクが消えちゃった件、どうぞ。
EditorTownHall.com. Katie, how you doing? Good morning to you. Go back to the baby formula issue. Republicans are saying they warned the White House in February. It's almost June.
Yeah, I think there's a big government scandal brewing here. There's reports that FDA inspections of this Abbott plant, which provides the country with upwards of 40% of the country's baby formula, shut down inspections during COVID, which of course delayed this inspection process till now. February was 3 months ago. The FDA is taking a very slow time in making sure that this plant gets back online when the company itself says that their baby formula is safe. And of course, they have a stake in producing safe baby formula. The timeline here of how the White House was caught off guard is becoming very obvious. Jen Psaki yesterday said that they've been working on this for months. If that's the case, then they've completely failed to prevent this catastrophe, this crisis. But then the day before, the incoming press secretary said it was asked directly who was in charge of handling this crisis, and she literally laughed out loud and said she would find out who was in charge. So which one is it? There's also now this scandal brewing about pallet loads of baby formula going to border facilities. Of course, babies who are brought over the border to no fault of their own need to be fed. But while American families are scrounging and being told at the store that they can only buy a certain amount of baby formula for their children, I think there are big questions about how much product the federal government is buying, whether it's local stores in Texas or that they have some kind of contract and storing it at these facilities while Americans can't find it in their stores at home.
Katie, it's the year 2022, and parents are struggling to feed their babies. That is where we are right now. I'm going to channel Dana Perino and just ask the question, is there no one inside the White House who can get ahead of a crisis, a scandal, who can anticipate this? Because even before the Abbott Labs plant was shut down in February, there were supply chain problems and shortage problems. Back then, they could have alleviated the trade barriers and imported formula. They could have alleviated the vast array of regulations on baby formula production here in the United States.
Yeah, and yesterday the White House put out this fact sheet claiming that they're going to allow WIC to be used more often for baby formula. The states have already done that. It's not clear if they're taking off regulations for importing baby formula because the FDA does have very high standards. And so we're in a crisis where the store shelves are bare, and yet the administration is now coming around to releasing a fact sheet about what they plan to do about it. The issue is that the FDA is taking too long to get this plant back up and running, and the administration doesn't seem to be able to get their timeline straight when it comes to who was working on it, what the name of that person was, and how they're going to manage this going into the future. And President Biden has talked repeatedly about invoking the Defense Production Act for the issue of the pandemic. Why is it that he's not talking about it, not just this week, but previously, to make sure that there wasn't a shortage in the first place, given they knew that this plant went offline in February as a result of an FDA inspection and them needing to shut it down to make sure that the formula was safe to provide to the American people who need it. You know, babies have to eat multiple times a day. This is something that they should have seen coming, and now they're trying to make up for it. And even now this plant is saying if they get back on board tomorrow, getting product to the shelves is going to take at least 2 weeks.
Put it on the list. Katie, thank you so much. Katie Pavlich, we'll see what answers we get in time.
Thanks.
Hopefully soon. Thank you today.
Indeed.